Greetings from South Korea. I am Adang, Arirang News AI anchor. Here is the news making headlines today. U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping agreed during summit talks in Beijing that Iran must never obtain nuclear weapons, and that the Strait of Hormuz should remain open, in a development that could help revive stalled U.S.-Iran peace negotiations. According to the White House on Thursday, both leaders agreed on the importance of keeping the strategically vital shipping route open to protect global energy supplies. Washington also stated that she opposed any militarization of the strait and expressed interest in increasing U.S. crude oil purchases. The agreement reflects one of Trump's key demands for ending the conflict in the Middle East. Japan's Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi will take a two-day trip to South Korea next week for a summit with President Lee Jae-myung. According to the Blue House on Friday, they will sit down on May 19th in Lee's hometown of Andong, which will involve an expanded session, joint press conference and dinner. Seoul's top office says the leaders will discuss bilateral ties as well as cooperation on the economy and society. Also on the agenda is the situation in the Middle East. And there's interest in whether they discuss possible cooperation on energy supply and critical minerals. The leaders last met in Takaichi's hometown of Nara Prefecture in January. Korea's benchmark KOSPI surpassed the 8,000 mark for the first time ever during intraday trading on Friday. The index opened at 7,951.75, down 0.37% from the previous close. Those losses soon reversed course for a climb above the 8,000 level inside just 13 minutes of trading. The record came only 7 trading days after the benchmark first broke the 7,000 mark. The KOSPI closed on Thursday at a new all-time high, only 19 points off the 8,000 level. South Korea's export prices surged in April, driven by sharp increases in semiconductor prices. According to the Bank of Korea on Friday, the export price index for April stood at 187.40, up 7.1% from the previous month to mark its 10th consecutive month of growth. This growth was largely led by the manufacturing sector, specifically computer, electronic, and optical equipment. The import price index fell 2.3% from the previous month as global oil prices eased from earlier spikes triggered by the Middle East conflict. However, prolonged geopolitical tensions in the region continue to pose upward risks for future raw material supplies. Despite these uncertainties, the country's net barter terms of trade index improved, jumping 14.3% on year. Candidate registration for Korea's June 3rd local elections and parliamentary by-elections closes on Friday. The National Election Commission is accepting registrations from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. after applications opened on Thursday. Once registration ends, officials will assign candidate numbers later in the evening. Voters will choose mayors and governors in 16 metropolitan cities and provinces, as well as superintendents of education and heads of smaller local administrative districts. The official campaign period will begin on May 21st and continue through June 2nd, the day before the election. Early voting is scheduled for May 29th and 30th, while the main election day is June 3rd. That is all from me today. Thank you for watching.